Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. Welcome to NoDQ's post-Elimination Chamber 2017 review video. This is our first ever four-person panel, being joined as usual by good old Jeff Meacham. Did I just
Good
say
old Jade.
what? Oops, I meant JM. Botch.
Botchamania is running wild, brother.
Also being joined by the No DQ author of Pain, Mr. David Payne. And for the first time here as part of the panel, being joined by Greg Cherry, who has been doing various videos on No DQ, including the Coast to Coast with Jeff, as well as his own Quick Picks. Finally here to do a full review video with us today. So first off, I'll start with you, Jeff. What did you think of the pay-per-view overall? And then we'll go around to David and then Greg.
I think with the exception of what we can call the semi-main between Orton and Harper and, of course, the Chamber match, very lackadaisical pay-per-view. I thought it just kind of dragged on. I'm surprised it only went 3 hours. It felt like 6. It just went on and on. I was like, okay, this is not entertaining to me. I like the Harper Orton match, and I love the Chamber match, especially the result. But other than that, it kind of fell flat for me.
What did you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Jeff. I thought that instead of being a setup for WrestleMania and maybe some interesting things happen, it felt like the booking was flat. The matches were just okay. I'd say it was probably a D+ or a C- until the actual Elimination Chamber. But I will say this, though. The Elimination Chamber surprised me. I told you guys before that I wasn't a huge fan of those kind, but those guys made it unique things work for that. So I quite enjoyed the main event. Or at least they sent off on a good note. Give them that.
What do you think, Greg?
I'm going to disagree a little bit because I actually kind of enjoyed the pay-per-view for the most part. I thought the tag teams were good. I thought the opening match with Becky Lynch and Mickie James was really good. I thought that was a pay-per-view. The Nikki Bella and Natalya match was very good, in my opinion. I felt Natalya did way too much of this.
Yeah.
Once or twice during the match, but like every single time, like, oh my gosh! And then why to set up the backstage thing? That was terrible.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, you seem like you definitely enjoyed the pay-per-view overall, which I would agree with. I think the main event was excellent. I definitely felt that was probably the best Elimination Chamber match in 5 or 6 years at least, if not longer. The rest of the show I had mixed feelings about, but let's go ahead and go through these matches here. We had the kickoff match, which was Mojo Rawley versus Kurt Hawkins. Nothing to it, just your standard kickoff match. Rawley picked up the win. You guys are fine with this, I'm assuming, with Rawley winning here? Or are you upset that Kurt Hawkins lost and is really going nowhere?
I threw up a great, I thought was a great response to Morrow's comment about, if Hawkins beat Mojo, it'd be a big win, the biggest win of his comeback. If the biggest win of your comeback to WWE is a win against Mojo Rawley, you need to reassess your career options there, Kurt Hawkins. Just saying.
Right.
Has he won since he's come back?
So I didn't even comment on this match. I mean, it is what it is, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. I just, some people were upset about Kurt losing this, but I mean,
why are we surprised?
Yeah.
Mojo Rawley is best friends with the guy that just won the damn Super Bowl.
And of course,
seriously,
he's been somewhat pushed in recent months. Hawkins has really done nothing.
Yeah, Hawkins was at one point part of the biggest thing on SmackDown when he was with La Familia and Edge, and he's been a complete lackluster dud since he came back with whatever you want to call this gimmick now. Kind of a lame deal, but whatever. Yeah. Mojo, with or without Zack Ryder, is beginning to push, and he was getting a bigger push with Zack there, but now that Zack's injured, they're going to totally soar Mojo to the moon and make sure he gets a push on his own.
Yeah. All right, so next for the main card.
Hang on, Aaron.
Oh,
you might have to edit this out. I'm sorry, but I'm hearing like somebody's headphone microphone is like scratching against them. I don't know if it's you, Jeffrey, but
it might be Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear it too. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, it's Jeff.
Yeah, that's it.
It's me. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Take 2. My bad.
Oh, it's okay.
That's okay.
No worries. All right, let's just move on here. We had the main card kickoff with Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. Otunga mentioned that Mickie had ring rust because she's been gone for 7 years. So apparently TNA does not exist, and JBL actually had to mention that, well, she's wrestled all over the world and doesn't really have ring rust.
And and that match in NXT a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and on the kickoff of the Royal Rumble. So, I like Otunga, but it's
and house shows.
Yeah, I think more than anything, Aaron's tweet with the cartoon of the guy blowing his head off for commentary was for this match.
It was for pretty much anything that Otunga said.
So, and Aaron, I'm sorry to totally diss on your tweet about Otunga being rich, and that's why I hate his commentary. No, he sucks.
It was a South Park reference.
I know it was, and I understand that, but I totally had to cut it down because we don't hate him because he's rich. We hate him because he sucks.
Like Token invited Will Smith and all those guys into South Park, and Mr. Garrison was calling them a bunch of richers. That was what I was referencing.
I totally got it. I was just pointing out that no, we hate him because he sucks.
No, I know, but you know what people will say, especially in the month of February, if you criticize Otunga or you criticize
and they are more than welcome to talk to the dozens and dozens of friends of mine that are of the colored persuasion, because it's bullshit that I think people are racist. I just don't like Otunga's commentary because he's a terrible commentator.
Yeah. Steve Austin.
Hey, you got to call a spade, man. When somebody's bad, they're bad.
Yeah. Steve Austin said it's not a race thing, it's not a color thing, it's a Otunga sucking thing. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would be fine with Booker T coming back or somebody like that, but why does it have to be Otunga? Why? So you can have Jennifer Hudson sing a halftime at a WrestleMania in the future? Come on.
Yeah. You know. But anyway, yeah, this match in particular, he really showed his suck. It was really bad, and the match was actually pretty good. You had Mickie James, who no ring rust because she's wrestling with TNA for the better part of the last decade, and she did very well. And Becky, there's a reason she was drafted first on SmackDown, because she's that good. And these two had a really solid outing to start the show.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match, like Greg said.
I like the match.
This was a solid opening for the pay-per-view. Were you guys surprised at all? I'll start with you, Jeff. Surprised that Mickie lost this match, or do you think this is just going to be her role where she's putting over other people?
I think David put it best in the group chat we were talking about during the show. We all had a complete suck night for our predictions because everything went the wrong way. And this match started it off. We all thought, the formula, the heel wins the first outing, the babyface comes back and wins later. And they totally went against that. Mickie James loses the first match.
What do you think, Greg?
Quick picks. So,
Greg,
I kind of thought she'd pull out the victory. So, play for me.
Well, there you have it. Jeff and I and David were all wrong, I think, right? David, you picked Mickie. Right?
I did, yeah. I picked Mickie James too.
Yep.
So I guess maybe she will be relegated to the Jobber to the Stars to enhance.
It's kind of interesting too, considering what happened later. But we'll get to that in a few minutes here. So next up, we had.
You know what? Honestly, before you go on, sorry. Think about it. If Mickie James is the Jobber to the Stars, who better to learn from if you're a SmackDown Women's competitor than Mickie James? My goodness.
And in defense of the booking of that match, Mickie really wasn't buried by any sense. I mean, it was a role he lost to. So, it's not necessarily a fluke win, but like one of those, Becky kind of stole it. So it really doesn't hurt her in that sense.
That's a good point. All right, so next up we had the handicap match, Apollo Crews versus Kalisto and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler attacked Kalisto during Kalisto's entrance, so for most of the match, it was just Crews versus Ziggler one-on-one, and then Kalisto came back out. Crews was able to make the comeback. He pinned Ziggler with his spin-out powerbomb, and then after the match, Ziggler attacked both guys. He used a chair to smash Crews' ankle, and Ronaldo was like, how can anybody defend the actions of Ziggler? And while this was happening, the crowd was chanting one more time. This was so stupid. I mean, this was just ridiculous. I mean, Ziggler's supposed to be the heel here, yet he's in a 1-on-2 handicap match, and it just didn't work the way WWE was trying to make it work. So, Jeff, I mean, I could tell by your guys' expressions right now, I don't think anybody was too impressed with this. What do you think, Jeff?
This match right here is easily the biggest example of WWE booking three guys one way and the crowd going, no, sorry. you're wrong. This is stupid. We love Ziggler. The guy's a great athlete. He's our guy. And you've put a Paul down our throat since NXT. And Kalisto's, he's a cute little act and all, but he's just another Rey Mysterio wannabe, and we don't want to deal with him either. So let's have Ziggler be both of them, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I will say the booking was this is a case of when you kind of feel awkward. It's almost like when you see a bad actor on TV and you kind of feel awkward, and it's weird for them. That's how I feel with this booking. These are three guys they absolutely have no direction in. Ziggler, they're forcing him this heel thing, and I just don't think it's catching on. This isn't 1999, though. Not everybody from front to back has a significant storyline anymore. So it is what it is. This is what I call the Hershey Squirts match. If you got a stomach ache, go use the bathroom.
There you go.
Okay, the pre-match and the post-match were the best part of it. The actual match, I still don't get the logic of booking, unless it's like some sort of like revenge thing from the owner or whatever, booking a 2 babyface against 1 heel handicap match. Who has that benefit? Who in the world does that benefit? It doesn't. It's like, okay, well, the good guys have the advantage. Yay, they win. Well, no kidding. It's 2-on-1.
Yeah,
I sat there talking to my dad, going, "This is exactly why we sit here every single month, actually every 2 weeks now, it seems like, and crap on these pay-per-views because the booking makes no damn sense. Who in their right mind books 2 baby faces against 1 heel in a handicap match?
Yeah.
Like, duh.
I mean,
and Ziggler's not a Strowman or anybody.
No.
Or like a total prick, like a Triple H.
Right. If he wants to be a badass, maybe he should shave his head or something. It just doesn't look right on Dolph Ziggler. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Like, I remember, like, years ago, like, Triple H was feuding with Vince, and Triple H was being a total prick, so Vince made Triple H wrestle, like, 5 matches in one night. That was funny. That was entertaining, because, Triple H had it coming.
Though.
Yeah.
I remember...
He had to earn his spot in the 6-pack challenge, I think.
But you wanted to see Triple H suffer and have to be tortured like that. They actually had good storytelling there.
Wasn't that the series of the matches where Undertaker ended up walking out and ended up leaving because of his groin injury?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Okay.
All right, well, anyways, let's move on here to the Tag Team Turmoil match. Rhino and Slater and Breezango were the first 2 teams. Fandango was eliminated, then the Vaudevillains came out. And then they were quickly eliminated. Usos were out, and they eliminated Slater and Rhino. And then American Alpha came out. American Alpha eliminated the Usos, and then afterwards the Usos laid out American Alpha, which led to Ascension being the last team. But it wasn't enough despite the Usos' attack. AA was able to make their comeback, retain the titles with the Grand Amplitude, and that was that. I mean, I wasn't really much into this match. To me, it was very predictable that AA would retain, and I thought the match was pretty boring, quite honestly. I mean, what did you think, Jeff?
I don't like you during this match because you tweeted that picture of the Revival. I was going to, hopefully we're going to pop out.
No, they tweeted it. I just retweeted it. They were just,
well, whatever it is, you retweeted
it.
Well, and you bid on it, man. You suck because I was like, oh, the Revival's backstage, awesome. And
I wasn't expecting them to show up.
I feel like an idiot because when I saw your retweet, I freaking totally trolled my dad. I'm like, here they come. Revival's coming out. Watch. And they didn't come. You screwed me, Aaron.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I told you didn't comment. Yeah, the match, it was very predictable. What was funny is, I think we all talked about this in the group chat, that wasn't Alpha saying they wanted to come out first to prove themselves? They ended up being second to last. Like, it made no sense.
Yeah, I know.
That's another one where a babyface booking made no sense. And I think this is the only one we got right, all 3 of us together, right? I mean, it was pretty predictable. And it
believe so.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, again, I mean, you're crying out for teams like DIY and the Revival because it just goes to show you how skimpy, if you will, the SmackDown tag team division is.
Well, think about it this way. Not to cut off before Greg gets to talk, but think about it. Both DIY and Revival are now no longer NXT Tag Team Champions. Perfect time to call them both up.
Yeah, but I think they're involved. I don't know if this is spoilers of any kind. I think they're involved for TakeOver.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting at least.
Okay.
Some sort
of
it probably won't be called up until after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So.
Well, which is fine. But the point is, you guys are all right, especially Dave, what you just said. The SmackDown Tag Team roster now just totally got beaten because everybody beat everybody else. So there's really nobody left for Alpha to be challenged by. So it's going to be a total freaking waiting game until DIY and Revival get called up.
And I figure that American Alpha and the Usos are really the only two tag teams that stand out as really having a chance because they bury the Ascension, they bury Breezango, even though they're very entertaining together, and they've completely demolished any credibility that Vaudevillains had.
Yep. You see the text I sent you guys.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Even Heath Slater and Rhino have more credibility than the other three, and 2 out of the 3 of them were NXT Tag Team Champions.
I know.
Yeah. I would. You know what? I wonder if Aiden English just goes home and goes, at least I'm married to Shaw Guerrero.
That's true.
Seriously, because his partner's in the doghouse. He doesn't have to give a shit anymore. He's like, meh.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks for them, but I mean, we all figured that gimmick probably had a short shelf life, but at least, they got on a pay-per-view.
You know what? Honestly, the gimmick presentation would have worked had they continued the entrance, continued the whole thing, and just started tweaking it here and there. Instead, they completely cut him off.
They just gave up on it.
Got rid of the entrance and just gave up on it completely. Once Simon got in trouble, it was like, screw you guys, that's it.
Yeah, once a low-level guy on the roster stirs up crap in the locker room, it's just like TV. Yep. They're going to write you off like Joey from Friends.
Exactly. Yep. Days of Our Lives style. Up down the elevator shaft. There he goes.
All right. So
I have to say for that match. I have to say for that match when Ascension hit the Fall of Man, I did kind of think it's like, okay, Ascension. But then.
Well, I was relieved that, I didn't want to see American Alpha lose to Ascension. If American Alpha were going to lose the titles, they should have been the first ones in the match, gone all the way through all the teams, and then lost to the Usos at the end. That's how I would have
I agree.
If Alpha were going to lose the titles. But, whatever. Yep. It is what it is. So let's move on here to the next women's match, which was Nikki Bella versus Natalya. I think, Greg, you mentioned this earlier. There was a lot of stalling in this match. I mean, it was a lot of trash talking by Natalya. She was doing the "you can't see me," and it felt like there was more trash talking than anything else. And there wasn't a whole lot to this. And then after this long match where there wasn't much happening, it just ended in a double countout. It's funny because when we did the prediction show, Jeff, you and I were arguing about who should win this. I was saying Nikki. You were saying Natalya. So what does WWE do? They just make it a double count out, and then they keep the feud going, and nobody has to take the fall here. So what were your thoughts, Jeff, on this match and how it ended?
It's funny. I put the tweet out there. I forgot to say the only way it makes sense if they have a rematch at WrestleMania, and then I forgot that they're going to have Maurice and Miz involved with Nikki and John at WrestleMania. That's going to be the case. So now Cena's lost the championship. Now that Maurice was involved in that skit backstage with them, it looks like it's going to exactly go toward that. So my prediction now is going to be they're going to have a blow-off match Tuesday night, and it's going to be the end of it, or maybe even next Tuesday just to kind of further the angle. But what a waste of – and people are going to crap on me for saying this, but what a waste of 2 actually quality talent. Yeah, Nikki's good looking, and that's what she got her start with. But you know what? She improved her skills. She's done a lot better in the last couple of years. And Natty is just the best women's wrestler on SmackDown, if not the whole roster. And they totally wasted both of them with this double countout BS.
First of all, that's enough with this pretty stuff, okay? She's all right. I mean, I'm just as attracted to Natty as I am her. But with that being said, though, to me, it feels like Natty's heel turn is being forced. Like, whereas Neville's kind of came natural, this one's not feeling so good, And maybe that's another reason, not the dog on SmackDown again, but I think the women's roster is a bit slim, too, and I think that maybe if there was some more people to work with, perhaps Natty wouldn't have to work as a heel. But it is what it is, and it doesn't matter what match on the card. A double count out is going to piss the fans off.
Yeah, and here's my thing. The build-up package for this match and the storyline behind it was actually really decent. I mean,
it was.
The 2 of them, it seemed like they naturally hated each other, which, I mean, obviously they don't, but it felt like a really personal rivalry, and that's the one the fans get behind. They get behind the really personal, I want to kick your ass, I want to kick your ass, so put them in the ring together, let them beat each other up, and then that's how they finish it.
It must be settled on SmackDown.
Hey, Aaron, I have a great idea for the next pro wrestling T-shirt for No DQ.
What?
No DQ. It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's like my new phrase now.
That's everybody's new phrase. We all use it all the time on the shows now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes from the idea that we just have to accept the way things are. I mean, there's not much we can do about it.
That's my whole problem, Aaron. When you and I started doing this stuff 15 years ago, we didn't have to say it is what it is. There was and Greg was watching back then, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. We were able to evaluate quality stuff. Yeah, it was the Triple H show for the first couple of years we were doing the shows, but Raw and SmackDown were both, especially SmackDown back then, was presenting quality entertainment. Now it's just like, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, you guys were complaining right off the bat with the whole Katie Vick thing. That was the first XM.
I remember that, and yes, Katie Vick was a disastrous thing for all of us involved, except for Vince McMahon.
What a way to kick it off!
Yeah.
I believe the first question I sent into XMV was actually regarding the Tim White suicide angle.
Oh my God.
Which that was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen.
But just to put this full circle, I will say, to answer your guys' question, I mean, we're throwing this out there. Why is it so bad? And I just honestly think it's attributed to, you got a cubicle office full of writers now, as opposed to Paul Heyman writing SmackDown, or back in the late 90s, Vince Russo and Jim Cornette doing Raw. You know, it's not like that anymore. It's not just 3-4 people. And I just think ideas get kicked around and a lot get kicked to the curb, you know? So,
who
knows?
Yep.
All right, so next up we have Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. I thought this was a good match. Orton came out to his normal music. Harper had a really good showing here, and some would say this was the best singles match of Harper's career. I mean, can you guys think of one that was better up to this point?
No.
I really can't. I mean, and Harper's worked with a lot of really quality people, but Randy just brought the best out of him tonight. He really did. And you know what? It's tantamount to showing what they could do with Luke Harper if they had him have a proper character, because the guy can work.
Yeah, he can work.
And the crowd, was really into it. And even though I think it was fairly predictable that Orton was going to win this, I think Harper looked good in defeat here. I mean, that's a testament to the quality of the match, that even losing, he still looked good. And the crowd and the announcers actually, were making a big deal about Harper putting up a great fight against Orton. So I thought it was well done.
Yeah. Harper by no means jobbed tonight. He actually lost a quality fight.
Right.
Yeah, and don't forget, this is Harper's first time, I think, working as a babyface. So, of course, there's going to be some new moves in the mix. And I thought this was his come-out party, and I thoroughly enjoyed this match. What do you think, Greg?
I enjoyed it, too. I thought Luke Harper and Randy Orton had some really great chemistry. I enjoyed all the spots. I was kind of hoping they go a little bit longer, honestly, because it's like I wanted them to keep going. It's like, I'm enjoying this. We'll go another 5-10 minutes.
Well, they needed more time to show Nikki and Natalya fighting backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had that. We had the fight backstage, and then we had the women's title. This one was a bit of a surprise for me. Alexa Bliss versus Naomi. I thought that this was just going to be an easy win for Alexa, but no. Naomi actually pulled it off and won the women's title, and now she will go on to her hometown of Orlando to maybe defend the women's title. I'm not sure if it's going to be a one-on-one match or if they're going to do like a 10-woman match with all the SmackDown women or something.
It'll be on the pre-show. How much you want to bet, Aaron?
Very well could happen. And also, since it's Naomi's hometown, wouldn't surprise me if she lost in her hometown. We know how WWE is. So I think this was definitely a surprise. I know, Jeff, you picked Alexa to retain, and I believe David did too. Did you, Greg?
Yeah, I think I picked Alexa also.
So I think we all,
we all did.
From what I remember, I think we all went with Alexa.
You know what? I swear to God, WWE production team watches our shows. And, all right, let's screw with these guys here just to make sure.
That's what I was saying too.
Yeah, it's been proven they watch our stuff. We know they do.
It happens sometimes. Like if WWE thinks something is too predictable, sometimes they will change it up just to throw a curveball at people.
Yeah, but sometimes, at least in the case of WrestleMania, it almost seemed like Russo booking to go against like everything we thought. Like last year's WrestleMania was terribly booked, in my opinion, because it's
Yes.
like, okay,
It was.
I literally like filled out one of the prediction sheets with another group of friends, and I got 2 matches on the pre-show right, and the Reigns Triple H match right. I got everything else wrong.
I think, Jeff, it was the same with us, right?
I think we actually borrowed Greg's prediction sheet to pass around at Wade's house. Yeah.
And we were like,
Yeah.
like every finish was like something we would not have done for that WrestleMania.
I say it every time we're in front of the camera, Aaron. I'm telling you, dude, the Zack Ryder thing tells the story for WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, I mean that was a case of swerving people just to swerve people.
It was, man. And,
Shut up, David.
Hey, you know what? That made for a hell of an Instagram picture with you in the chair with your bald head.
Well,
and
made for a good
classic.
YouTube video on the No DQ channel.
You know what? I'm telling you, it seems like beard shavings make a lot of good hits on YouTube. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll have to put up something for WrestleMania again this year.
Oh God, don't grow that. Oh, please don't grow that thing out again.
We all should actually make it interesting for the viewers. We all should do a little something. Now, I don't know if I can risk my hair. That means a lot to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll
I
think of
can't risk
something.
my hair either, but I'll say this one: I will make a WrestleMania prediction that if like some major swerve happens that I say is no chance of happening, I'm going back to the Triple H Harley Race beard.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Quick.
Well, I'm not going to shave my head again, but I'll just go ahead and say this. If Roman Reigns turns heel at WrestleMania, I will dye my hair pink. That is on camera in front of the world now.
I will make my prediction another time because I really have to think because I have a full-time retail job. I can't like make myself look like a complete
this
idiot.
is my job, so
We'll see
I can get away with it.
Yeah.
Dye it pink, but you got to do a no DQ&A video like the day after. You can't wait till a week till it washes out.
No, I will definitely do a video with the dyed hair if it happens.
All right,
I will do a video dyeing it pink.
Okay, let me rein the show back into the prediction we were talking about, the results show. Okay, yeah, I am not surprised Naomi won necessarily. It kind of caught me off guard at first, but the more I think about it, hometown girl going home for the championship kind of makes sense. And I honestly feel, well, it'll make total sense that she loses because that's WWE booking, right, JR? But I like it because I like Naomi, but I'm bummed because Alexa's my favorite on SmackDown besides Natalya. So
yeah, it just seemed like it was a really short reign too.
Yeah, since what TLC, right?
Yeah.
2 months. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not
a month and a half. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, in today's WWE, it's not bad. Put it that way.
That's right. This isn't 1992 where you're going to have 4 pay-per-views and a champion will be there for a year. It's just. A lot of these titles are hot potatoes now, including this one.
Yeah, isn't the SmackDown Women's title was just recently introduced too when the brand extension started. So I'm not really a fan of the frequent title changes when you're trying to establish a new title. But that's just me.
Well, Becky reigned for about 3-4 months, so
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
When was it? September.
September.
So it was 3 months.
Backlash. Yeah, it was Backlash to TLC and then TLC to now. So
All right.
Ping pong.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Raw Women's title has been flipped around more, but I'm not.
Well, yeah. I mean, how many times did Sasha and Charlotte win in the course of the week? Seriously.
Felt like it at least.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's move on here to the main event, the Elimination Chamber match. I was talking to David through text messages earlier, and I said I think the Elimination Chamber will make or break this pay-per-view, and I got to say, it totally made the show. I thought this was an incredible match.
Yep.
Like I said at the beginning, probably the best Elimination Chamber match in 6 or 7 years, maybe since 2009. I'm trying to think back to really memorable Elimination Chamber matches. 2008 had 2 good ones. 2009 had 2 good ones. But definitely the best in the last 4 or 5 years for sure. It started with John Cena versus AJ Styles. Ambrose came in at number 3. I want to ask you guys. Okay, so this was a modified chamber, slightly different design. The ground was padded, and a lot of people were complaining about this. To me, it did not hurt the quality of the match, and they actually took more risks on the outside in this match. They were doing more things on the outside, more flying moves off the top. So for me, it wasn't really that big of a deal, but a lot of people were complaining on Twitter. So, Jeff, what did you think? and the change.
The problem with the change is you have a hype video going into the match with every single guy talking about the risk involved. Edge shortened his career, Michael shortened his career because of the way the chamber was designed. And then you show a brand new Elimination Chamber with less risk. It's like, there's so much risk. Oh, wait, no, just kidding.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah, that's true. But on the other hand, Aaron is right, and I didn't even think about that they did do a lot more stuff, especially Ambrose and Cena.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it. It wasn't that bad, but it did kind of make it feel PG.
I will say this new chamber is definitely designed for television. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. I personally
I do
enjoy
too.
it.
Yeah, that was my
I
critique,
think
was the
this
camera view was hard to see. So this was good, yeah.
Yeah, in the words of Step Brothers, there's more room for activities. So I thought it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, and I like how like they have the glass in the corners above the pod. You know, when like Ambrose and AJ were fighting, you had that clear view of it. I thought that was a good change.
Yeah, I'm not knocking the way the chamber was presented as far as like the actual chamber of the match itself. I just didn't like that the hype video said there's so much risk, and now there's not.
Well, I mean, Ambrose, you know, he was on top of the pod and he did the flying elbow to Cena on the outside area. They wouldn't have done that with the old layout because it would have been more dangerous.
Well, number one, the space between the pod and the top of the chamber was more cumbersome in the old chamber. Number two, last time somebody jumped off the top of the pod, Triple H's Tricky almost got destroyed. So you know, it doesn't work.
Right. But I mean, overall, I thought it was a good change. It didn't bother me as much. I mean, a lot of people were bugged on Twitter about it. They were complaining left and right.
Well, Aaron, as we found out, the people on Twitter just like to be bugged for the sake of being bugged, and when they try to bug you about it, you're like, you ignore them. That's what you do. You ignore those assholes.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I'm a veteran. I know to ignore the trolls.
That one guy got so mad that I blocked him. He kept tweeting, and Aaron's just like, not gonna do it, not gonna fight. It was great. I love you, boss. It was awesome. Yeah. The match itself, I thought was, like you said, Aaron, easily well. If you take into account that it's a new chamber, yes, but it's still, like you said, the best chamber match probably since the 2009 double presentation, because that whole night told a huge story. It started with the WWE Championship chamber match where Edge lost and that Triple H walking out the champion, and it ended the night with Edge winning the World Championship. It was a great story arc from start to finish. Tonight's chamber match was contained in itself. It was a great story. Everybody had their moment. Everybody had their spot. But my goodness, is this not the biggest night of Bray Wyatt's career? He beat John Cena and AJ Styles in the course of about 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, before we get carried away, let Aaron do his play-by-play to let the people that maybe didn't watch it.
Okay, yeah, because this is the full results and highlights and all that stuff, so we do have to talk about the results.
Sorry about that, Aaron.
No problem. So, as I mentioned, Ambrose was number 3, and then Bray Wyatt was number 4. Baron Corbin came in at number 5. Miz was the last guy to come in, but he didn't want to get out of his pod, and Corbin was looking at the Miz, and because of the distraction, you had Ambrose rolling up Corbin to pin Corbin. So Corbin was the first guy out, and then Corbin destroyed Ambrose, threw him through the pod glass, and then you had Miz picking up the pieces and just pinning Ambrose after Corbin hit the end of days on Ambrose. So what did you guys think of this whole sequence here? I'll start with you, Jeff, and then David, and then Greg.
So well done. You had to have something happen because Corbin was talking about his complete reign of terror. He was going to just unleash total carnage. Something had to give where he was caught off guard and eliminated. And it did exactly. Miz was being a chicken shit, didn't want to come out of the pod, and Ambrose caught him off guard and rolled him up. And then Corbin just destroyed Ambrose, which led to Miz picking up a complete chicken shit victory over Ambrose. And they dragged poor Dean out of there on a freaking gurney almost. Like a piece of the slap piece of meat. Like I'm dead. I'm sure Renee Young was just in those wounds backstage. But what an interesting start to eliminations. You had 2 key eliminations because, like I said, Corbin was the dark horse almost for everybody else in this match. It was like if anybody was unlikely to but may still do it, it would have been Baron Corbin. And then Ambrose, you didn't think he was going to win because he's Intercontinental Champion. He's going to defend the IC title going into WrestleMania. But interesting way to eliminate him, just have him be decimated. And it kind of puts a little nugget in there for the future. Maybe we have Corbin Ambrose WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I came to this epiphany last week, and on my last Power of Pain, I was even saying, I said, don't be surprised if there's a blow off between Ambrose and Corbin, because Corbin is being pushed, so why not put the IC strap on him or at least challenge for it?
Yep.
Don't know what that says about Ambrose, but I will say Ambrose actually performed pretty well in this match. He had a few nice spots, and I was saying to you guys, he's probably used to that from his CZW days. I mean, this is like paradise compared to that. So,
seriously.
But yeah, I do think that Corbin and Ambrose will probably have a match probably at WrestleMania. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting scenario.
Can you imagine CZW with WWE's budget for poor Ambrose? Oh my God.
Ambrose wouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with the Corbin elimination. I've said this before. I said it on Coast to Coast for those of you who actually sat through it to watch it and didn't complain about the quality. I enjoy Baron Corbin quite a bit, and I think he's going to be WWE champion this year. That was my bold prediction.
I remember.
I thought I understood the way he was eliminated, but I thought it was very weak. Personally, it was because the schoolboy didn't even look like Ambrose finished him up. It was like, oh man, gets eliminated. The beatdown made sense. I enjoyed that, and Miz being the heel that he is, steals a victory or steals a pinfall over Ambrose. Right. I mean, that was done well. I just thought the Corbin elimination could have had a little more.
Maybe Ambrose could have hit his finisher, or what would have been a better alternative?
Not even hit his finisher, because I thought that would have done worse. I don't know. Maybe two people trying to,
or maybe like Cena hit the AA and then AJ hit the
if you got a bunch of finishers at once,
3 finishers,
right? That's a good one.
But the problem is he's not the Big Show or Andre the Giant where you have to have 5 guys at the finishers. You have to have Baron Corbin eliminated somehow. That's completely unexpected.
But this is the guy. This is the guy that eliminated Braun Strowman from the Royal Rumble.
They made him look like the Big Show at the Rumble.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is having everybody hit the finisher is what we would expect. You need to expect the unexpected, and having him eliminated in such a complete BS way is the
schoolboy.
It's such a cheesy schoolboy. It's like, well, it makes sense, I guess. For me, it made total sense.
Well, there's valid arguments either way for it.
And I'm a Corbin fan, so.
As am I. Greg, you know I love Baron Corbin. My son loves Baron Corbin. That's his favorite guy. But, for me, it's just they had to have something completely what to have him out of the chamber. That was a great way to do it.
Right.
I was just glad I predicted something right.
Yeah, exactly.
Give yourself a Barry Horowitz pat on the back, David. All right, so let's finish up this recap here. So it was down to Cena, Miz, AJ, and Bray Wyatt. Cena pinned Miz. I actually thought if anybody looked weak in this match, it was the Miz. I mean, the Miz just took advantage of Corbin's work by pinning Ambrose, and then he pretty much just got eliminated quickly with 1 AA from John Cena. I like the fact the AA pins people, but I'm sad that the Miz got beat so easily. But other than that, I think it is what it is. Like I tend to say.
Telling you, Marcus is shirt, dude. Telling you.
And then the big moment here, of course, was Bray Wyatt pinning John Cena with Sister Abigail. This was huge. I think it was awesome to have, like you said, Jeff, have Bray Wyatt pin both Cena and AJ within 5 minutes of one another. I thought that was really well done. It really made Bray look super strong, which is, if you're making him the WWE champion against the Royal Rumble winner at WrestleMania, then that's what you got to do.
And what I love the most about Bray's victory was the aftermath. He was in there with the belt, celebrating his championship win. Didn't even give Randy Orton a second glance. He's like, look at Bray. Oh, there he is. He just kept celebrating. Randy's standing there all badass, interesting. And Bray's just like, meh, I got the championship. What about you? Who gives a shit? He was totally into the moment, if you're going to be the champion after fighting as long as Bray Wyatt has, you have to be in that moment. And he completely was.
Absolutely. So, David and Greg, any other final thoughts? I'll start with David. Or Greg, you want to go first?
Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, my only complaint about Bray Wyatt's celebration is that the Wyatt graphic didn't close the pay-per-view. It's that would have just been a perfect end. It's you have the 2017 thing. It's instead just made now just have the Wyatt thing flash and then end the show. It's that would have been perfect. My opinion. Just a little thing, but I don't know. But yeah, I think Bray Wyatt. It's been a long time coming. We've been predicting he'd be WWE champion since the first WrestleMania he was at against John Cena. So for it to finally come to fruition, and he's going to be, I don't know if he'll be main eventing necessarily because, who knows with the Rumble winner and 2 champions. But he gets his championship match at WrestleMania as the defending champion. So that's got to be a cool moment
That's too cool for school.
for Rusty Harris.
Yeah, and it's about time they book Bray Wyatt looking strong, because they haven't conventionally in the last couple of years, and it's been kind of always 50-50 with him. And I thought maybe they're just going to treat it as sort of an Undertaker attraction, but he's not really going to carry the belt. Well, here we are. We get to see Bray Wyatt with the belt going into WrestleMania. I think I'm kind of excited for it. Now, I would have rather seen AJ. Now, it's funny because the finish was kind of it confused me for a minute. I was almost thinking, because, as you guys, we did our video, I predicted AJ, and I'm thinking, oh, Cena's gone, Cena's beat. Now it's just down to AJ and Bray. Maybe they're just going to tease Bray and AJ's going to come with it. But no, both of those guys put Bray over, and it made him look very strong. And yeah, I mean, hopefully this will be a great match at WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to it.
And again, much like Luke Harper earlier, they didn't job to Bray. They lost to Bray. Big difference.
Right.
Well, right, exactly. They did the job, but they didn't job.
Right, exactly.
Right. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thanks to everyone out there for watching. We'll go ahead and do our letter grades and plugs. I would say this was a thumbs-up show. If I had to give it a letter grade, I'd give it a solid B. I think the undercard was iffy, but the main event was awesome, and Orton versus Harper was good. The opening match with Becky and Mickey was good. So I'll give it a solid B. Jeff, any plugs and your letter grade?
Letter grade, I think the two matches we talked about and the first women's match pulled it from a C area to a solid B, maybe even a B+. Much like Dana Bryan, B+ player. I would say plug-wise, Twitter and Instagram _ Jeff Meacham. Look for Talk Wrestling this week. We're finally on the road to WrestleMania SmackDown-wise, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Greg and I will be doing Coast to Coast at some point between now and WrestleMania, because we're going to switch to podcast format, audio format, and see if that doesn't go much better than it has been. So we'll see if it goes there. And just be on the lookout for everything else.
All right.
Yeah, letter grade. I'm going to go B-. Maybe it's a tad bit critical, but again, as we said, the two matches and then the Elimination Chamber I thought were definitely the strongest. And so, yeah, not too bad. Plug-wise, if you want to follow me at SmartMark420 on Twitter, I also want to give my condolences to the Illich family. If you didn't know, Mike Illich, who was the founder of Little Caesars and also the owner of the Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Tigers, passed away. I actually worked for him with Olympia Entertainment, working with the Teamsters and the Stagehands, setting up concerts for about 8 years. So, yeah, I just wanted to give my condolences to them. He was a great entrepreneur for the city of Detroit. So thank you, Mike. You'll be missed.
Greg, after you're done, one more thing to say, but Greg, go ahead.
Okay. My letter grade, I give it a B+. I thought every match was done well. Sans Nikki Bella and Natalia. I thought it was a pretty solid show. As far as my plugs go, at PA Sensation for both Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me on there. I'll be doing podcasts with Jeff and I'll on wrestling podcasts in the future.
All right, Aaron, before you do your plugs, we mentioned Chavo Guerrero on NoDQ.com that passed away the other day. What we didn't mention, I don't know if you saw this, Aaron, did you see Jesse Hernandez's post on Facebook?
No.
Jesse Hernandez was driving home from EWF Friday night into Saturday morning, and the truck caught fire.
Oh, wow.
The ring, the PA system, everything gone for EWF.
Crap.
EmpireWrestlingFederation.com. Check out stuff for Jesse. Keep the Empire Wrestling Federation in your thoughts and prayers. And, of course, the Guerrero family, of course. Because Jesse was good friends with Chavo. So Jesse had a really rough Saturday.
Oh, shit.
So please keep everybody at EWF in your guys' prayers, especially Jesse and the Hernandez family. And, tough weekend for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll look into that and definitely post something to try to help them out and give them some support. That's terrible.
I was on my way to Dylan's equipment fitting on Saturday afternoon, and I go on Facebook and I see Jesse Hernandez posted that he lost the ring and everything in the truck at 3 a.m. and then he found out at 9 a.m. that Chavo had passed. So Jesse had probably the worst day of his life Saturday.
Well, that's quite the downer to end this video.
I didn't mean to end a downer, but I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know if anybody else knows.
Yeah, I didn't even know, but I will definitely keep up to date on that and see what's going on. All right, guys. So, is there any way we can end this on a happy note? Anybody have something positive?
We're on the road to WrestleMania, baby. What can be better than that?
Yeah,
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Wait,
Yeah.
I asked for a happy ending. Damn it. Another
Actually, is
pay-per-view?
it Fastlane in 3 weeks, or am I wrong?
Three
No.
or four.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Fastlane's March.
No, I think
March
it's 3.
5th,
I think
so
it's
3
3
weeks.
weeks.
3
I
weeks.
think it is
So
3
March
weeks.
5th, 3
Okay,
weeks, 3
thank
weeks.
good. That's good news. Okay, we'll
There we go.
end it.
Yay.
We'll end it on that note. 3
Yay.
weeks. We got a 3-week break until Fastlane. That'll do it. Thank you guys for being on. And if the feedback is good, I assume it will be, then maybe we can keep this 4-person panel going in the future. We had a few little technical issues, but overall, it seems like it turned out well. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you guys next time.